I find it very odd that only Hot Wheels seems to be doing the Audi Sport Quattro, such an iconic part of racing and automotive history because it introduced Quattro to regular production sedans and stuff like that. But anyways, until a premium brand does come out with one, hopefully soon, this is as good as it's gonna get. You know, this or the premium version of the Hot Wheels. But something looks a little weird with the premium one. At least, I don't know. Anyway, so the main line is so cheap it doesn't even matter if it's not really realistic. It's so inexpensive that I'm willing to mess around with this one. All right. So the let's see here. This car, the regular production versions were available between 1980 and 1991, and 11,000 of them were sold. But the 1984 version, called the Sport Quattro, they made 200 of these for homologation so the Audi could go racing. And they actually reduced the wheelbase by 12.4 inches or 320 millimeters. So significant reduction, mainly in the middle of well, basically they cut out a lot of the rear seat area. And that allowed it to have, better weight distribution and become a better race car. But it does make the vehicle look proportionally a little bit odd. It looks like a hatchback with long sedan rear ends and front end. Okay. So another thing I want to measure is the scale of this thing. So I found out the wheelbase is 2204 millimeters, and this time I am going to measure the wheelbase because bumpers, well, who knows how Hot Wheels did all those bumpers. But let's pull out the calculator. 2204. Now I gotta divide it by this wheelbase measurement. Sorry, I want to see those axles. I would say 37.3. Eesh, 160 scale or 159 scale. So it's definitely, even if they didn't measure it 100% accurately, it's still not remotely close to 164. It's quite large. Alright, well, Hot Wheels doesn't advertise any sort of scale. It's just every now and then we actually get lucky and they actually are 164, but this is not the case on this guy here. So some other things I learned about this vehicle, it had ABS and four-wheel drive obviously, but also self-locking differentials, which is pretty advanced for the time. And I think that's what allowed it to be a successful race car. It actually won the World Rally Championship for the manufacturer's title in 1982 and 1984. And one of these won the 1985 Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. Alright, so it's supposed to be running on 15-inch wheels in the real world, and then it's powered by a 2.1 liter engine. And the road cars, I think, had 300 horsepower, those 200 homologation specials. But I read one article where the race cars got up to 530 horsepower, although Wikipedia says more like 440 or 450. But anyways, it's all a matter of how much boost they provide to the engines versus how much of a risk you want to have of it making those engines melt down. Okay, well, anyways, it was a 5-cylinder, which is also a little bit unique, and it was also the first Audi engine to have 4 valves per cylinder. And then that anti-lock braking is actually could be disengaged, so that would be probably helpful for certain conditions of the roads, whether it's snow or gravel or road tarmac, I'm not sure. Okay, well, we saw the photographs. I think I'm gonna have to add some black paint and stuff there, but the actual appearance of this casting looks pretty good, compared to the photograph. So the wheels naturally do not look remotely close to either of those photos, but I'm gonna print my own, I think. We got all the tampo printing, so that's a great thing about Hot Wheels. It really bothers me that some of the premium brands are using decals. Decals crack off and they have like that rough texture on them. But this mainline Hot Wheels is using tampo prints, which is good. Nothing here, of course. Some really thick exhaust there. All right. Team Challenge. I can't read the dates, but Audi Sport. There's some vents back here, so that's accurate as well. Just needs some paint. What's odd is when I look at those photographs, this actually isn't a vent. It's like a fake vent. It's just solid white on the real car. So maybe on the race car they do punch it out, though. It probably runs a brake duct to cool off the rear brakes. What's going on here? There's like a texture. I see. It's still the smoked glass, but they put a texture here as if it was like a sponsorship banner. So that's pretty cool. I haven't seen that before in a Hot Wheels. It's interesting that they actually have a window here. I would have liked it if it was an open window so you could see the interior. So really, we can't see much of the interior at all. It's just such a dark plastic here for the windshield. So that's unfortunate. But I imagine there's probably a big post right here. Or no, there isn't, because look, the post is here. So now I'm curious, is there a post there or not? Because I think like some of these Hot Wheels are adding like really atrocious support posts. Anyways, so they're the seats, racing seats, so that's good on Hot Wheels' part. But why is it I can't see anything in the back? It's something with the reflection of... I can't see through the rear windows there on the side. It's very strange. It's almost like, well... I think that just might be a giant post. Yeah. You can see a little bit of light, but something's blocking that light. So maybe there's a giant piece of metal right here for better safety for children to not do bad things. Oh, I see. Look, there's a cross brace right there. There's like an X-shaped brace. But that would be part of the interior piece. Okay, so I guess that's Hot Wheels' idea of trying to make a roll cage. But they had to extrude the roll cage upwards so they look like vertical walls instead of an actual tube roll cage. Alright, so that's the explanation there that I can decipher. Alright, well, let's see what happens. Yeah, as you can see, not the best paint job on my part. I tried to add some black paint here for the window molding, but it's a little bit rough. Oh well. But the wheels I managed to make off of a real car. I think it's probably an earlier Quattro. It seems like the Quattros of this year just have simple 5 spokes, but I like these ones because they have these little indentations and some sort of wind cover for some reason. I don't know the real reason why, but... Okay, so anyways, I added some black paint up into these grill areas here, as well as the turn signals, and then a little paint here on these little vents. Again, couldn't really get it straight because the casting is undulating. I suppose I could have masked it off, but... Oh, and already some red paint is chipped off here, and I added some black in there. And that's the extent of the modifications I made. So if you want to compare to the photographs here, that's the car I was going for as far as the wheels go. And I think it's kind of close. Yeah, I couldn't really get the black dots in the lug nuts. They're just too small. I don't see myself doing that without messing up the model even more. Here's another picture of a car with those type of wheels. Okay, you know what? Let's compare it to a couple other Hot Wheels here. Get this thing spinning. This is a great photo of that Quattro flying through the air. Well, I do have this Hot Wheels 94 Audi Avant RS2. I think this model came out this year. I put on my own Porsche Cup wheels though. And then I have this Lancia Delta Integrale, and I put on my own wheels here as well. So there we go. And then I have this Porsche 959 from 1986 with my own wheels again. And then again, I pretty much buy all these Hot Wheels so I can do wheel swaps, guys. This is the RS200. Okay, so let's get a top view and just see the size differences. Granted, I guess the size maybe doesn't even matter because none of, they're all out of scale. Like, none of them are consistently the 164. I believe maybe this wagon actually did measure out around 164, but I think all the other ones are too big or too small. I can't recall, to be honest with you. You'll have to go into my video history to find out. Alright, well anyways, but in most cases, it's still I'm pretty happy with them because they're just cheap toys to play with, and for me it just kills a little bit of time having these little projects to keep my 3D printer working. So, yeah, I think it works out well. The only thing I can really hope for is a premium brand doing a proper Audi Quattro, the very first ones. Because I feel like it's an important part of automotive history. Not only for rally racing, it brought on all-wheel drive, but for all modern vehicles that use all-wheel drive. So it was an integral part of their history. Alright, I will see you guys around in the next 3D wheel print. Thanks.